Hello beer viewers and welcome to yet another beer review with me, Peter, the master of hoppets. Starting off this video by giving Henok from Omnipollo a freaking massive thanks for sending me not just one can of this, but a whole 6-pack. You are a champ, dude. He knows I am the biggest sucker for West Coast IPA. And so he sent me a box and I knew this was coming because he told me this was coming. And then there was a whole 6-pack, which is perfect because we're getting close to Christmas tomorrow. And New Year's and everything. This is going to be gone like this 6-pack for all these events. I have very, very fond memories of drinking the regular version of this beer, or the original version. So let's just dive in. And also, this beer just arrived in the mail today. And I was that excited about trying this that I immediately put it in the fridge as soon as it arrived and knew I was going to crack it later today. What is the beer, you ask? It is, as the title says, none other than North Park's Hop Fu West Coast IPA, brewed as a Freaky Friday variety at Omnipollo in Sweden. So in the church, they got to do this as a Freaky Friday beer. This concept is so cool, where brewers around the States, I think it's the globe now, not just, I think there's more breweries maybe participating than Omnipollo. I'm not 100% certain, but they share recipes. And then they do these Freaky Friday beers where you get to brew each other's recipes at your given brewery, so your customers can get to try your friends' beers. And you get to work on their recipes and try to work them on your system, which is really cool. So this West Coast IPA is 7.5%. It's one of the best core range beers in the entire world. It has a lot of merit to its name with loads of metal. It's a tried and tested beer in the beer community in San Diego and Southern California. And I've had this beer quite a few times and it's one of my all-time favorite West Coast IPAs. So there's a lot of standard to be held up to and accountable for this version. So I'm hoping it's at least going to be just a little bit as good as that beer. So the hops in this one says it's loaded with Chinook, Simcoe, Citra, Citra Cryo, Citra Incognito, Amarillo, Mosaic Cryo, Mosaic, and Columbus. So a lot of stuff, also some classic hops. And what's funny with this as well is that it's not exactly the same recipe. Like, it's morphed over the time. It used to just be called Hop Fu. Then I think now it says double dry hop Fu on the labels. Then there is the triple dry hop one, which is the gold can, and then numerous offsprings. NZ Fu, which is also fucking crazy. And the Disciples of Fu, which is single hop varieties. And there is all kinds of spins on this beer, like you wouldn't even imagine if you just look up anything with Fu in North Park. So I'm just excited about this. They themselves say they get a big kick in your olfactory with a blast of saturated hop flavors. They say pine, dank, resin, fresh flowers, peppery spice, tropical fruit, berries, melon, stone fruit, and citrus. I'm just stoked. And I'm cracking this at, this was packaged on the 12th, on the 19th, and we're on the 23rd today, so 4 days in the can. Doesn't get fresher than that. Let's try it. So pours exactly the color I kind of remember from this beer. It looks like the modern West Coast, super pale, golden yellow color, white head, very good head retention. You don't often see that with the modern West Coast beers. This looks like a lot of the beers I brew these days and that I love to brew. Let's check this out. Smell it. Cheers, Henok. Yes. There we go. Ooh, it's definitely got some dank, some sticky iggy, but not like the tropical weed. It's like classic fucking hash, like smelling a block of hash or just like when people smoke weed. Like when you smell fresh buds sometimes, they can have more complex aromas, and I get that a lot in like some of the modern West Coast beers. But some of the ones, especially with more classic hops like Chinook and stuff like that, I feel like, and also I guess kettle editions, you get more of like, what do you think of when you think classic weed? But it's definitely got a lot of classic West Coast aromas. Sweet citrus, like orange tangerine notes, grapefruit. There's definitely some pine and also tropical vibes. I don't think it's as like super distinct on the nose right now as the description there says, but it just smells really, really good. And kudos for it being clear. Maybe not crystal, but like, this is what a lot of these beers look like when you get them from the West Coast. But yeah, so let's try this. Thanks so much for the beer, Henok. I'm looking forward to this. Cheers. the exact kind of beer I want to drink these days. I think maybe this, I don't know, it's Hop Fu is also quite piney and like slightly resiny. It definitely has a little bit of an old school touch to it, but it's not like massive. This is a fucking crusher. I drink loads of this. Definitely quite different than their other collab I had recently with Sierra Nevada. There's that crystal malt profile in that beer, which is vastly different from this. This does not have that lingering, like slight crystal malty note. It definitely has some like grapefruit and piney vibes, but it's definitely much more modern. There's a lot of like a bit generic kind of tropical fruitiness on it. More for me, a lot of sweet citrus, orangey, tangerine notes as it is right now. This is also kind of cold, but really nice bitterness as well. Also compared to a lot of modern West Coast beers, this has some substantial bitterness, which is really good. But a lot of the bitterness in these kind of beers is all about process. The way you brew them, a lot of them actually have the same IBUs as you had back in the day. It's just the processes of making them and the hops and the methods for dry hopping and everything is different than you did 10, 15 years ago. So the beers tend to have a little bit of a sweeter, juicier profile, but Hop Fu is a little bit in both camps, I think, especially also from memory. It definitely reminds me of Hop Fu because it does have those classic grapefruit vibes. But I think if I just think back drinking Hop Fu, it's been a little while now. It's over a year or so. But if I just think back a little bit, I remember it having a little bit more fruitiness and brightness, like bright, slightly tropical vibes, diesely danky kind of notes, and a little bit of that. And they talk about berry notes and all these things, right? Yeah, tropical fruit, berries, melon, stone fruit. I can get on board with stone fruit, but I just remember Hop Fu having a bit more of all the latter nuances that's mentioned here, although they're definitely there. It's a fucking great West Coast IPA. It's awesome. Henok, you need to brew more beers in this style. I think this is fucking great. This is a really good West Coast IPA. It's in the modern style, hybrid with the old school. I'd just love to see Omnipollo try the new school approach a bit more and also just like more West Coast. I know Haze is king, but I also like Haze, and the Hazies they've been putting out are really great. But this is so different from what you're otherwise used to getting from the church of more hype releases these days, because they're like these massive, hazy, juicy, sweeter hop bombs. This is like dry, bitter, piney, resiny, like it's really good. But I think Hop Fu from San Diego is a little bit better from North Park. A little bit. This is still a great West Coast IPA. But when I had Hop Fu, it was just like, at least on 95, this is fucking world class. I drink this all the time. And I'm not exactly there with this. It's close though. All it needs is just a bit more of the fruitiness to be at play. And that could even come out of the glass as it warms a bit. I mean, this is not like super cold, but it's also not like warm. But yeah, I think 94, maybe 93. Let's see when the can is done. It's not the 95. It's really close to world class. But I just want bit more bright fruitiness on it. And I think that's just due to maybe the freshness of it. It could be just like it needs to sit a little bit, or it could just be the temperature or whatever, or the fact that it's different crops of hops than what they use at North Park. Super light, crisp malt backbone. This is awesome beer. Great. Thanks so much, Henok. Thanks for sending me a 6-pack. This is going to be gone in a jiffy. So if you guys had a chance to try a Hop Fu, the Freaky Friday version brewed at Omnipollo, the famous North Park beer, let me know. This is out. I'm thinking it's going to be out like now or maybe just after Christmas. If you see this, you get it instantly and you drink it, and you don't get one can because that's not going to be enough. So get this, because this is awesome. We need to send Omnipollo a sign that they need to make more West Coast IPAs. This is just going to be the biggest advocate video for West Coast. You need to make more West Coast IPAs, Henok. It's it's one of my favorite styles. So yeah, if you guys had this, let me know. If you've had both this and the North Park version, it would be fun to hear your thoughts. And as always, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page, Twitter, and Instagram. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and ring the bell for future notification about videos. And I'm gonna say cheers, and see you guys in another beer review. Yeah, and thanks to Henok for the beer. Cheers.